Hello Troop, in today's video we are going to have a look at the new IK Multimedia ARC. I haven't reviewed this for a long time. In fact, the last time I looked at it we had just updated to ARC 2 and I was still using my original setup that I purchased way back when ARC 1 launched. And I have to say that today we are looking at incredibly significant updates and generally just a massive improvement to what this can do for you in your home studio environment. Now I want to caveat this video by saying it is not sponsored or paid for by IK Multimedia in any way, but they have sent me a beta so that I can get this recorded and have it ready for launch day. The video is instead sponsored by DistroKid, which is the channel sponsor. They let me get my music out to all of the major distributors, and they do that at a price an independent artist can easily afford. If you're ready to get your music or beats out there and want to release an unlimited amount of music each year, check the link in the description below for a discount off of your first year of unlimited distribution with DistroKid. ARC released with the idea of addressing the home studio musician, people like you and me who work from converted rooms. The idea being that you could measure your room and get an EQ corrective system going at the end of your mix chain so that what you're hearing is relevant and flat and it fixes some of the issues in the room. Here we are now on version 4, but this to me is a paradigm shift in how useful this is for everybody rather than just those working in a DAW. This now caters to a lot of different workflows and different ways, meaning you can do a lot of other things with your reference systems in place, which is fantastic. Is this the be all and end all fix everything solution? No, not necessarily. I would still recommend start with basic treatment, get the room balanced as much as you can, and this can then take that final step. And the way the system works now, it can do so much more than it used to be able to do and gives you pretty excellent results, of which we'll hear throughout this video, and I'll show you exactly how it works and set up and what's so different about this. So ARC 4 comes with a hardware box that you're going to insert in your signal chain. The way I've set it up here is we're going directly out from my UAD Apollo into the ARC box, which then goes into my Behringer switcher down here, which then goes out to my monitors. This means instead of having a plug-in at the end of your DAW chain, you've now got everything processed from your audio out. If I listen to music to reference it, it is in reference to what I'm listening and mixing to, regardless of where I play it. This now means I could pop up Apple Music, stream lossless quality audio as my reference material, and it's got exactly that same EQ profile as everything else, and it's a reference in line with everything else I'm listening to. So we've seen everything provided in the box, but there are some extra things that you are absolutely going to need if you want to set this up. Firstly, you're going to be adding something into your signal flow. So you need good cables and you also need specific cables. You see the back of the box is XLR, male and female for the input and output. I run into an Apollo, so that uses 1/4 inch jack, meaning I need at least 2 female XLR to 1/4 inch jack leads and 2 male XLR to 1/4 inch jack leads as well, extra to add into my signal flow, because then I'm going into the Behringer box and then into the monitors. Make sure you've got enough cables for your signal flow, and make sure if you're not already operating with XLRs, you're going to need XLRs to use this. On top of that, to connect your MEMS microphone, you're going to need another XLR cable and another XLR input on your audio interface. Now I use an ADAT interface to extend this, so it's no problem having an extra input, but having a spare cable is again something you'll need, especially as you've just utilized all these other XLRs for various purposes to hook everything up. A mic stand is also preferable as well, but you can hook it up to anything as long as you can adjust the height to make sure you're at ear level for the most basic measurement. You'll need something adjustable if you're going to do the 21 points, as we do multiple height measurements for that one. One thing I do dislike, and I have fed this back to IK Multimedia and they're going to look at it, is that it was provided with only a single USB to USB-C cable when most modern machines aren't even providing USB options anymore. So I asked in the future, perhaps have an option at purchase stage of what cable you want, or provide an adapter in the box. The measurement system now. So we need to launch the ARC analysis application. And the very first thing we need to do is press next, because here we're going to choose our microphone that we're going to start recording with. And then we need to go through initializing our mic setup. So we should have everything hooked up at this point, and we need to establish the microphone input. Like I said, I've got the old ARC microphone, and if I wanted to, I could calibrate using that as well, built into the software to allow us to do exactly this. Now, once we've established our signal chain and we've got an input from our microphone and we can hear those test signals, there are two ways we can set this up. For the purpose of this video, I'm going to use the 7-point system setup, where we record 7 individual points set up in a room, and based on the output of the left and right speakers and the MEMS microphone pickup, it will adjust an EQ profile to this room based on that audio output. There is a much more intensive one that takes 21 different measurements and requires a bit of work from the old tape measure to get everything in the kind of right ear level, profile, etc. Whereas you can pretty much eyeball the 7.1, although I did make sure that the initial point was exactly, and that I did the same distance left and right. That's a really important factor into how it's going to capture the shape of the room. If you've got a space that really could use dialing in and tweaking in, take the time and do the 21-point reference. Once this is all set up, we can open up the ARC for standalone software, and we can now see our profiles. There are various things that we can do within here. I've set mine up to have this warm profile, so it's not cooking the highs too much, it's ducking those off a little bit and lifts up the low end just a touch. But as you can see, it's making massive corrections to those standing waves, and where my high end bounces around the room a little bit, it's tilting that off just a little bit for me. If you would like to reference other things very quickly in here as well, that's very useful too. So we have multiple reference options available and provided by IK. So if we want to check what our mix would sound like on a TV, like maybe I want to do with this YouTube video, well, we can do that very quickly by just switching over here to do such a thing. And once that's done, we no longer need the software. We can very simply press the switch on the box for correction on or correction off, and then our signal is always going to be processed via the hardware box, and regardless of what is being played. So we could jump onto YouTube and it's now balanced to our room. We can play back Apple Music, it's now balanced to our room. We can go and mix our track without worrying about plug-in latency on the final channel for that detailed EQ. It's balanced to our room. Now I've set this up to my Kali in 5 speakers, but you can save multiple speaker settings if you would like to, but only one can be synced at any time with the box, where we could just open the ARC software at any time and resync a new profile if that's what we wanted to do. And I always knew that this room had standing waves. It is the nature of working in a boxed room, even with treatment up and padding behind my speakers. So when doing the measurements, I was very surprised to see I've actually got 2 foundations of standing waves, and it's very likely that you've got similar problems like this. But now I think we should have a listen to them to give some context to it. Because we're on YouTube, I can't play any copyrighted music, so I'm going to use one of my tracks, and I want you to hear the environment that I mixed it in, and then the environment that would be that warm correction curve that I've set everything to, corrected the room and chosen. I don't have a way that I can screen record, capture, record, microphone, etc. all in one. So the audio you're going to be hearing is a Shure XY paired mic. So we've got the left and right. I'm going to put that in the listening position for you so you can hear what it's like when it switches. And what we'll do, we'll listen to both for a few seconds so we can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like. And then every couple of seconds, I'm going to switch between the two so you can hear the massive change. Remember though, you're going to be listening to this microphone placed in a space in my room. So it's not going to sound like the perfect translation of music, but you'll get an idea for how much work the correction is putting in.
Find my way.
My verdict here is ARC has been good for a long time, and I've owned it since version 1. But I haven't always used it because it's not always been practical to be in a plugin format. This kind of takes that away completely, but it does come at a price of expense. However, a caveat to that is when you compare it to the only other hardware I know that does this, which is Trinov, that starts at around £3,000. This is considerably cheaper than that. In fact, you're looking at almost 1/10 of that. And when you price it up like that for what you get as a result, as a musician working in a home studio, don't think it can really be argued against or ignored in any way. Said, this video isn't sponsored. The link below isn't even an affiliate link. Hit the link, find out more about it, and see if this can do the same kind of great results that it has for me for yourself. I think it's potentially very good value for money and potentially a game changer for home musicians, because you finally got that constant stream of flexibility that no matter what you listen to, your audio is balanced out with the box being in place here. I think it's a wicked update. I really do. The price point may be a touch expensive, but no more expensive than you'd have to spend on extra treatment to get your room a little bit more tweaked in. I really hope the video has been helpful for you. Thank you very much for watching. I do look forward to seeing you in future videos. Take care.